for the record, I don't think I've ever seen Boeheim happy.
I know.
And,
I know.
Even when they win, he's always like, well, we didn't do this, we didn't do that. This game, he was a happy man as Syracuse going on to the Final Four. All right, listen, as Christine said, the rest of the world still moves on. Tanya J. Powers standing by right now with the latest on those the terror attacks in Brussels. Good morning, Tanya.
Good morning.
And so it looks like so the CIA, NSA, there's an official there saying what here, that this was all inevitable? What are they saying?
Well, yeah, I interviewed last week. As a matter of fact, the same day as the Brussels attacks last week, I had an interview with General Michael Hayden, who is a retired Air Force four-star general, who also happens to be the former director of the NSA and the CIA.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him a lot of things. He's got a new book out. We talked a little bit about the book, which is quite interesting and really gives some very good insight as to what really goes on in those two agencies, by the way. But also, I asked him about, the attacks in Brussels, and I asked him if he was surprised. And he was very quick to answer. He said, nope, not at all. He said it was borderline inevitable. And he said, because of what we knew about the security situation in Europe already, and what he says, were the competencies, as he put it, of the security service and the intent of people like ISIS. He said it was pretty much inevitable.
And is that the new world that we live in now?
Yeah, unfortunately, it seems to be. He said he did tell me. He said, because I asked him, I said, well, what about people and especially kids and parents who are trying to answer the questions from their kids. What if something like that happens here? Because it's scary to see it on the news. I mean, to adults certainly, but goodness, kids.
Yeah.
And he said, well, the U.S. does have some things in its favor when it comes to a possible attack here. He said the first thing is geography. We're further from the problem.
Right.
And he also said, we have a different population makeup. He said that he didn't believe that the attacks, that if they happen here, that they certainly won't be as frequent and they won't be as successful or lethal.
Right. Well, and you have to be thinking that since 9/11, they have been trying every single day, and we have been pretty successful at thwarting off these attacks.
Right. I mean, and there's been. I'd love to know about the ones we don't know about.
Right.
All the things that they have intercepted and the chatter, as they call it, and things like that. I mean, he has a really good insight, but he's also very well spoken. And he doesn't speak above your head in lots of agency and military terms and things like that for people who might not understand him.
Yeah, I like him.
I did. It was a very interesting interview.
All right. Well, where can people see that interview anywhere? Can they hear it anywhere? Still?
Yeah, we are going to this week. We're going to release the pretty much the whole interview, and we will post that and have it on the web. We'll put it on our podcast and social media, and I will let you guys know. I'll tweet you and let you know where you can see it.
Okay,
hear it, actually.
Tanya, thanks so much. We appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thanks,
Tanya J. Powers. Interesting. We've not mentioned Donald Trump, and it's already 6:26.
I know.
That's a shock. And there's plenty to talk about. There is plenty to talk about. And Trump really over the weekend doubling down on Heidi Cruz. How many knew Ted Cruz's wife's name prior to this mess? Probably nobody. But now Heidi Cruz is something that is being talked about a lot. The Enquirer, Trump yesterday saying, I have information on her and I really don't want to have to release it. I mean, what is going on here?
He said that's what he said last week, though.
Yes. Well, like I said, he's just simply doubling down. Yeah. I've got information. I don't want to release it. He started it. He started it is really the big quote right now. We'll get into some of that. And this Omarosa is in the news here. She is, I think she got into a fight with Don Lemon on CNN. You know who Omarosa is. She was the woman that was the what would you call her? She's
the meanest person of all time.
I want to say deviant, but that's not the right word.
Devious, maybe.
Devious, meanest. I would agree with that. Just a horrible person on The Apprentice. And somehow, by being a horrible person, she has somewhat become famous over it. People have her on their talk shows and what have you. And now she's been actually out there campaigning for Donald Trump. And devious person, would you agree with that?
I don't know. She used to date, before he passed, the actor from The Green Mile, and he said that was all an act, that she was really a sweetheart. So I don't know.
What
was his
else
name?
would he say?
Yeah.
Right? What else could the guy say? Anyway, I have some audio from her interview with Don Lemon that went pretty bad. And more on this thing between Trump and Cruz we'll get into. And how about Bernie Sanders winning a few primaries over the weekend? Not high in delegates, but winning. And some say Hillary didn't campaign there, knew that she would not do well there. And she's focusing on April 19th, which just so happens to be our primary. Wisconsin is next week, but the biggie is going to be New York, and Bernie Sanders says he can win New York. We'll have to see what happens, but I can tell you this, get ready, because the commercials and the appearances, both on the Democrat and Republican side, are going to begin here as we are becoming quickly the focus as the New York primary is just 2 weeks away. Hold tight. Coming back, Christine has news. It's Monday after Easter on WIBX.